G'day friends, just wanted to share a quick thought with you if I may. Robin and I live in a beautiful part of the world here in Melbourne, and as we've gone through autumn and we've come into the winter, we've seen the trees changing, haven't we? That is the deciduous trees. Those trees like the one behind me that the leaves change colour as the weather gets colder and it gets darker, and then they'll fall off as we get into winter. And there's a beauty about that, isn't there? And also it allows during winter for more light to come in. There's a purpose as well. Now these aren't the only type of trees. There's others like that one there, which is an evergreen, if I remember my high school lessons well. So there are deciduous and the evergreens. And it occurs to me that that's the way God has made them. And there is beauty and there is purpose in both of those types of trees. Of course, the sad part is that we probably know that if these trees were people, then you would have the deciduous tree all the time going, oh goodness, it's starting to get colder again and winter comes and it happens every time. I'm starting to lose my leaves. Why can't I be more like that evergreen tree that is just consistent and permanent, whether it's hot or cold or whatever the weather is like, light or dark, it doesn't matter. That evergreen tree is consistent. Wow, that's the way I should be. And we could see how the deciduous tree would spend a lot of their life trying to be like the evergreen tree and avoiding their leaves falling off. And we could even imagine the evergreen tree going, well, the way my life is the way it should be, and I got to help my deciduous friend there so he doesn't have to lose his leaves all the time every time it starts getting cold or dark. That would be very sad, wouldn't it? Because again, we know that God has made the deciduous trees like they are. There's a beauty and there's a purpose about them, as there is with the evergreens. There's a part of scripture here, I'm reading from Mark's Gospel, where Jesus is being baptized, and Mark says, just as Jesus was coming up out of the water, he saw heaven being torn open and the Spirit descending on him like a dove. And a voice came from heaven, "You are my Son, whom I love. With you I am well pleased." In Mark's telling of the baptism of Jesus, he makes it very much a personal thing between the Father and the Son. And we hear God the Father saying to his Son, "You are my child. You are my child. I love you. You are beloved. And I am well pleased with you." It's just beautiful. And scripture, as I read scripture, I hear that same message coming to each of us. You are my child. You are beloved. With you I am well pleased. And it occurs to me, and this is my thought for the day as we think about the deciduous trees and the way God created them to be, that is true about us, and that if we were able to let that sink deeply within us, then the way we lived life and the choices that we made and the fulfillment and the flourishing of our lives would be completely different. And it occurs to me that if we lived with that deep knowledge there and understanding, then we would be living more like Jesus. This isn't an excuse, of course, to go, oh, I can't change myself, this is the way it's got to be, and a giving up type of thinking. But this is to speak to a lot of us who actually spend a lot of our time, even though we're deciduous trees, to looking at the evergreens and spending our time trying to be like the evergreens. And if we could just hear this same message that God the Father said to God the Son, "You are my Son, whom I love. With you I am well pleased." May you know this in your heart and soul and in your mind this day. May it be for me, may it be for you as well. God bless you.